Here they are. The three wise men are with us.
Where's the
We've got Mazala Molefe. It's a team, man. Look at him. He's holding his head. Mazala Molefe, best journalist in South Africa when it comes to covering football. And I'm not saying so. The awards say so. And next to him is a man that's going to have a little bit more content today. We call him the principal. Victor Hlongwane is with us as well. Vic?
Yeah, I'm not benching last week.
Oh, guys, it's 11 after the hour 6, and there's a lot to cover from the weekend. I mean, there's the Roland Garros, both the men's and the women's, and the quads as well. South Africa winning big there. There's the cricket. The Test series was amazing as well to watch. There's the Champions League, both internationally in Europe and on the African continent. We're not going to, unfortunately, cover all of those today.
Yeah.
Because the big news that came out of this weekend, and I happened to be with Dr. Kumalo on Saturday when it happened, was Clive BARKER passed on. And I don't know why it is that every South African at the same time with hearing this thought Dr. Kumalo. But we all did. And we happened to be with him on Saturday, and he gave the most passionate farewell goodbye to his dear father figure, coach, mentor. We're going to have Dr. Kumalo on the show today.
Yeah.
Dr. Kumalo is going to be talking to us about all things Clive BARKER. We also, though, need to go to family. Coach Steve BARKER is going to be talking to us as well. And over and above that, when I think of that 96 squad and I think of Clive BARKER, it's hard to see them and not see possibly the most popular doctor in sports in the history of South Africa. Team doctor for Bafana Bafana at the time, Dr. Victor Ramathesele, is also going to be joining us.
Oof.
So we're going to be talking Clive BARKER today. We're going to be paying homage to Clive BARKER. We're going to be saluting the man Clive BARKER. And remember, at some point, Clive was also a member of the SABC team. He was an analyst, and he analyzed football with us.
He was, yeah.
He'd sit with me and we'd talk football on camera with Clive BARKER. So it's 13 after the hour 6. But we are going to touch on one big story, though, with Mazola. And we're going to throw forward to what Victor's going to be doing a little bit later on television as well, on Soccer Zone, where you can watch us a little bit later. What's that one story you've chosen we can't go without?
Chiefs hunt for a new coach. They're close. Talking personal terms now. If he accepts, he'll be the new Kaizer Chiefs coach.
And we know who it is.
We know who it is.
So we're going to send the name out there. People can go Google. So that when they get him, we don't have to see Ambile.
Yeah, I mean, he wouldn't be hard to Google. We won't criticize his CV because CV high hot.
It's 13, about to go 14 after the hour 6. The three wise men are here. Your tributes, your contributions to today's conversation are much needed because we celebrated as a country. We lifted this man to the skies as a country. Questions on whether we did right by him or not are obviously doing the rounds at the moment, but it really doesn't matter right now. We want to remember Clive BARKER. 086 000 2160. WhatsApp on 060 552 7303. We take a break. When we come back, Dr. Khumalo's with us. Today, as much as it's going to be a somber mood, it's going to be a celebratory mood. We're going to be speaking about Clive BARKER, our memories of Clive BARKER, and we all have personal memories with Clive BARKER as well, but also just from a legendary point of view as well, from a historic point of view as well, from a point of all things Clive, really. Who is he? Where was he? Where does he rank in our history? Doctor said something on Saturday, and he said, guys, this is the only coach who won and brought glory to this country, asked by Nelson Mandela to do so.
Unite the nation.
And he says this is a man who did it, and he wasn't even getting paid what coaches get paid. He wasn't even a full-time coach. He wasn't even given that.
Didn't even take Bafana to that World Cup.
The World Cup that he qualified for.
Yep.
But in Durban, KZN, where he coached, 6, 8 teams over the years?
Yeah.
Not a street, not a statue, not a soccer ball that's put up somewhere at the Moses Mabhida with his name on it.
Oof.
Nothing. I mean, I always advocate that there should be something for Dr. Kumalo. A statue at the entrance of Naturena, but then again, I get it. Naturena don't even have a statue at the moment of Chinchakulu.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But there should be something that says there was once Dr. Kumalo. 20 years from now, when that thing is standing and a little boy says, who is that? In the same way we had Bo Verwoerd, Lebo van Riebeck.
If we have a budget to erect a tomb, how much was the flag?
Hey, that thing.
Then we should have the budget to put a statue of
or something, Mazo.
of Clive or
Something. A
or,
street. You know?
members of that 96 team.
But let's go to our personal memories of Clive Barker.
He's got an album here, this guy.
He's got an album in front of him. He's opened it and it's got Clive. People are not going to see it. You have to put it up to the cameras because we're live on Facebook and Twitter there. So you can put it up to the cameras. Principal, talk to me about Clive.
Yeah, it's a sad moment, my favorite team is Bafana Bafana. Now, this man made us happy in 1996. I remember as I was at the college doing my second year in teaching. We celebrated. Some who drink, they never slept because this man made us happy. Now, when I graduated and referee at professional level, I see a picture here with him. Yeah.
You are sending him off there?
No. He was not a person who can send him off, and I don't remember him getting a red card. But here he was out of the penalty technical area. He likes to be out, when something happens. So he's out. I had to order him.
Who was he coaching there?
Black Aces.
Okay.
So he's out. I had to order him to go back, but you will not order him with a red card. I remember one stage, I was fourth official at Vets. He was coaching Black Aces. When the coach get out of the technical area, we normally say, coach, come back. Now I decided to say, hey, coach, mind my line. He said, hey, it's not your line. I'm like, hey, this coach. He said, no, it's not your line. It's the groundsman's line. You are the referee. I'm like, hey, this coach. He finished me in such a way that I could not say anything because everything I know I'll get an answer, but in a nice way. The only other time where I remember where he was naughty for us in the match is when Mabizela was wearing a wrong equipment. Now, we said, no, Old John must change. He trusted Old John so much that the game could not start with Old John. Now, we want to start the match. Old John is still changing his equipment in the dressing room. Umatalo wangene ground. Game, and it's an infringement by NSL rules because now TV is waiting for the game to start. Matalo wangene ground in that. And I could ngezulu ngeke iqala uMabizela angangeni hayi wangena uMabizela, then that's when the game started. But we had to report him. He had to appear before the DC. I said, coach, you'll be fine. Almost not less than 50,000. He said, no, as long as Mabizela is here, then the game can start. So those are the good memories that the old man had. He used to crack joke as a fourth official. Sending him off will be like, what type of a ref who can accept an old man like that? So it was a very nice man to work with on the technical area.
Well, that's from a referee's point of view, of course, a man that refereed at the time. We're going to take a break. Mazolo Malefe and I will share something. Then Dr. Kumalo will come on. Doctor said to me, his phone wouldn't stop ringing on Saturday. And that's because all of us, we think of Clive and we think of Doctor. Second to that, I think of Themba Zwane. So think about two of arguably the greatest footballers of this generation. And I mean, that's up to interpretation. Everybody's got their own pick.
Yeah.
But they definitely feature in that conversation. I'm not having the Doctor conversation for sure.
Clive cooked both of them.
Clive had a hand in both of them.
Yeah.
When Sundowns sent Mshishi to Clive,
he restored his confidence. Mshishi thought he was not worthy of playing for a big club like Sundowns, but Clive made him believe in himself. And there's tons of interviews on record, TV, radio stations where Mshishi is talking about how Clive the dog Barker revived his career.
We're going to go to a man that called him Uncle, Steve Barker, coach at Stellenbosch United. We're going to go to Dr. Kumalo as well as a man that I haven't heard his voice in a long time, Dr. Victor Ramathesele as well. Let's take a quick break. He remains the most successful coach in South African colours. Clive William Barker, born the 23rd of June 1944, and he made his demise on the 10th of June 2023. A South African football coach who guided South African national team to their only African Nations Cup title back in 1996. Born in Durban and Natal. A man that has managed teams like AmaZulu, Juventus Durban, Durban Bushbucks. He had a couple of stints at AmaZulu, didn't he? Maritzburg United, a couple of stints there as well. Bushbucks, Santos, Cape Town, Manning Rangers, I remember that all too well. Very vivid. Mpumalanga Black Aces as well. I mean, that's where he would have encountered a Themba Zwane. We have family with us at the moment in Coach Steve Barker, who now joins us. Coach, thank you so much for joining us and welcome to the show.
Evening, Evening, Andile, and evening to all your listeners.
I mean, Coach, I saw your tweet, and I saw, what you had to say about Clive, and we're grateful that you taking this moment to come and talk to us. Because for you, unlike us, who say father figure and who say Coach Clive, for you, it's a little bit closer than that, isn't it?
Yes, Andile, my Uncle Clive, obviously, my father was the oldest of 3 brothers and a sister, and my father was the oldest. Clive was the second oldest son, and then Arthur the third son, and then they had a younger sister, Penny. So, growing up in Durban myself, obviously, visited the family. Clive living in Yellowwood Park. We lived in Montclair, which was close. Spent time together and grew up in the footballing circle.
I mean, as an uncle, never mind football, how was Clive? Who was Clive as an uncle? All of us have different uncles, and we always say there's that one uncle. You growing up, what kind of uncle and who was Clive as an uncle to you?
Yeah, he was very special. And obviously, he made our whole family, very proud with what he achieved in his footballing career. I never played underneath him as a player. However, in 1986, I went and trained with him, waiting to do my national service, which was going to start in July. So he was then with that brilliant Bushbucks team. So, I was afforded the opportunity to train there for a couple of months with them. But he was a caring, loving father, a caring uncle. We had some difficult times growing up, myself and our family, and he was always there to support and, to give the care and love. And also he was always, somebody I could turn to and speak to and advice from a playing perspective as well as from a coaching perspective. So, as much as he loved his players, he loved his family as well. So, it is a sad occasion for us at this stage.
I mean, we did know, Steve, that he'd been ill for a while. I mean, I remember the last time he worked for us here at the SABC was actually at the Moses Mapida Stadium. I was with him there, and even then he was having difficulties with his health. And I remember saying to him, because he had stolen my chocolate, from me, and he had said, no, he doesn't know, and he was eating my chocolate, and he said to me, hey, I'm an old sick man. One day I'll go. You'll tell everybody that Clive Barker stole your chocolate, which I had a chuckle about. But I can imagine he'd been sick for a while. Surely wasn't a surprise to the family, although difficult, the last couple of months, or maybe even a couple of years.
Yes, I hadn't. I was fortunate enough. A couple of months back, we played a match in Durban against Royal M, and I went to go see Uncle Clive together with his son Gavin, and that was about 2 months ago. And it was very difficult for me to see him in that state. When you see somebody with a stature and sort of the dynamic person he was, and full of life and always laughing and joking and that. To see him bedridden, he was really struggling, couldn't recognize, that easily, couldn't speak. He was just laying there. So it wasn't easy for me to see him in that, but thankful that I was able to have seen him before he passed on. So yes, I think it's been a difficult time for the whole family. It hasn't been easy, especially knowing the way Clive lived his life, and for him to not be able to do anything was not easy. So, as much as there's great sadness, and there's also some relief that he can go now, rest in peace, and he can lay down and be rested.
Coach Steve, it's Mazola here. My condolences to you and the family. I just wanted to know that memorable moment in '96. Where were you?
In '96, I was actually living with my aunt. I was down in Durban. It was just the time just after I'd sort of I was in the Air Force at the stage, and then we'd just gone down to Durban for a sort of brief a period of time, and I watched the match there. So, it was one of the proudest moments. I wish I'd been at the stadium, and to see the stadium as packed as it was, and to see the end of that match, and the wonderful moment and that occasion of winning the AFCON, especially after the '95, Springboks winning. It was a fantastic time for our country in terms of sport and the success that we got. So. I watched it with some family in Durban, and was very proud of what we achieved.
There's some great memories attached to Clive, and we're about to speak to Dr. Kumalo, who's on the line now as well. But I just wonder, 96 win, World Cup qualifier, Brazil match. When you guys had chats, what, if you ever maybe even spoke about these, what stood out for Clive? Which moments did he rate as the apex of his career, of his life? Like, which was the culmination of his work in football, do you think, of the amazing moments that he's had?
And even for me, you know, I think one just looks at the class of 96 and the type of people that have grown from there and the type of people that those people have become. I mean, you know, everyone speaks of Clive fondly and, you know, what he achieved with them. He made them better people. He encouraged them to express themselves, to be who they want to be. And every one of them have become, you know, really good fathers, uncles themselves, and gone on to. So for me, you know, that's special. The fact that he did not only leave his mark and imprint on people on the field of play, but also, you know, what he made them to be off the field. He impacted so many lives positively. People on the street, you know, family, friends, footballers. And it's incredible the type of energy that he had and the love that he had for people and the care that he had for people. So for me, that stands out mostly is to see the legacy that is left behind already with the people that he worked with.
Coach, thank you so much for talking to us, and please, by extension, pass our condolences to the entire family. It's, you know, closest to you, but it feels the same to us as well. We weep with you, we cry with you, we celebrate with you, because that man there, a giant and a true South African. Thank you, sir.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
Now, and perhaps he's the perfect person to ask, because if you think of the three moments that I've just mentioned now, that, you know, if you were to do a reel of the achievements of Clive Barker, you'll speak about the 96 team. And who's the first person that comes to mind there? Dr. Kumalo. You'll speak about that Brazil game, which, yes, we lost that game, but no South African is not proud of that moment. You'll think of who? Dr. Kumalo. And then let's go to France. When we qualified, you think of Clive, and who's the next person you think about? It's Dr. Kumalo. And I'm hoping that's not him there where the line has just gotten messed up. Let's see if we have... Do we have Doc? We do. Dr. Kumalo now joins us on the line. Andile, no, how are you?
I
mean, it's 2 days since you found out, Doc, and I know it's even difficult for you to do this interview. And I know, you know, I had to ask you, and at some point I was saying, no, Doc, it's okay. You don't have to do this. And you said you want to do this. So thank you so much, firstly, for talking to us. 2 days later, I was with you on Saturday with the news just hitting you, very emotional. How are you now?
Firstly, just to greet all the Metro listeners. And it's not easy, Andile. The whole day I've been doing interviews, and it's actually aggravating in everything, you know. Each and every question that I'm being asked, it's like a video is playing in my mind. And, you know, like I'm saying, since 8 o'clock this morning, up until this call now, I've been on radio, TV, and all that. But, well, I guess this is how much Clive had an impact. This is how Clive had put the smile on those faces of the South Africans. And this is the man that has made each and every member that he has coached one of the best. I would like to believe there's no player that Clive coached and he might have whispered in his ears that you are a bad player. I would wonder and be surprised at some stage, asking myself, how is he getting it right? Because any member of the 96 squad would have taken a bullet for Clive. I'm not too sure how he made it possible to be the way it was. When you walk away from him after any call-up, it's a sad moment. When we are coming for a call-up to honor the call-up, it's a good, beautiful moment. You will hear those words. How are you in the U.S.? How's your mom? How's your dad? Say happy birthday to your mom. Wow, How does he know? Now, when you face big teams, he always had one word. The only thing that separates us from these opponents is the national anthem. They are human like you. Go dance to show them what it's made of.
Doc, I've been saying the whole show, Guti, for some reason. I mean, you speak of the 96 squad because that's the kind of person you are. You never want to isolate yourself. You know, you always want to be within the group. But even when speaking to Clive, he'd always speak about you. Even when anything, he'd always say how special you were. And South Africans, when Clive passed, we all thought Dr. Kumalo. What is it about the relationship that you had with him? What was it about a man of a different skin color to you, from a different generation from you, looking at you and saying to you, you are that special? What was that relationship? What was that bond? Make me understand the Clive and Dr. Khumalo story. We seem to have lost Doc. I mean, I could hear there. He was getting a bit emotional, like he's saying. You know, it's a trigger every time these conversations do happen. I am hoping to get him back on the line. Dr. Ramathesele is also still coming through. Do we have him now, Doc?
Hello?
Yeah, I was saying, and I know you missed my question. I was saying, you know, you've been coached by so many coaches, and they've said wonderful things about you, but there was something about the way Clive spoke about you. There was something about the way Clive felt about you. Here's a man from a different generation. He comes from a point and a time in South Africa where a white man and a black kid would never be that close to each other. Yet he never saw anything past you besides a genius, and the way he protected you, the way he loved you, the way he spoke of you. What was it about that particular relationship with you and Clive? What did he see in you? What did he say to you? Because he made you look special to the rest of us. I can imagine he made you feel like that as well.
I guess, you know, you're talking about coaches. I can talk about Scrimashal and Augusto Palacios. You know, they had their own way of making a player feel better. But Clive had that, I don't know, what should I call it? You would say, you know, I have 20 players in this hotel, including yourself. But I know that you have that ability to make a difference. And I want you to believe that whenever you get on that field, when you look at that bench and you see me standing there, know that I gave you 100% freedom to express yourself in a positive way. I'll have the guys behind you to protect you. I was based in the U.S. We come back to go and play a qualifier game against DR Congo in Togo. Clive will prep me 3 weeks before the game. And I was wondering, what is it that he saw in me? But only to find that he was doing the same thing to shoes. So in essence, I think Clive, he was trying to say, if these two are not functioning, we're not going to win the games. Take nothing away from other guys. We really appreciated what they've done for us. But I'm just talking because of myself, what he said to me. And, well, the other issue that makes us to be different, Clive will tell you if you are not okay. If maybe something has disturbed you, if there's something, he will say, talk to me, what's wrong? Talk to me, what's wrong? I was once angry. He left me out of the team when they went to play Zambia, and they lost against Zambia. It was a qualifier. And he called me after the game to say, I've made a big mistake. I just listened to people because they thought I was doing great. And the game against Congo, the one that Masinga scored, may so rest in peace, that was a do or die situation because we lost to Zambia prior we played that game. And I went out there. I wanted to showcase and to show Clive that I can take a bullet for him, you know. But also off the field things that he used to do for players. He would always ask you, how's your parents? If you have a son or daughter, a daughter who's sick, he'll be part of that. Any player or any member of 96 will attest to what I'm saying. Clive was not just a coach. He was more than a coach and a father. I'm not too sure whether he was a friend or what. I don't know. I don't have a specific way that I can say this fits Clive, you know. But this man will make it a point that whatever we want, whatever we do, is part of it. Yeah.
From one doctor to another, we're going to go to Dr. Ramathesele in just a bit. He is on the line. He's going to be joining our conversation. We're celebrating the life of Clive Barker. But Doctor, and by Doctor I mean Kumalo, because I have to specify now.
Yeah.
You went down to Durban to see Clive. I mean, we all watched and saw your documentary. And if you haven't seen it, please go out there and watch a documentary of a genius, an icon in the making. Dr. Khumalo's one, that is. Doc, you went down to see him because when you were shooting your documentary, you wanted Clive involved, and you didn't call him. You didn't say, hey, here's a WhatsApp, I'm doing this. You flew down to him, and that was to be the last time you saw him.
Yeah, you know, when I was busy shooting the doc, that's one show that I really wanted for him to be part of that. And when we went down there with the crew, family, the wife, you know, they welcome us very well, and he didn't have a problem. When I walked in, because they didn't tell him that I was going to be there. He thought probably the producer was the one that's going to interview him. And when I walked in that room, you know, you could tell that Clive was so shocked and surprised. He stood up and he gave me a warm hug. Doses, kept on doses. Is this you? I said, yes, it is, coach. And probably people, you know, they even hear me when they saw the video that I posted about him, and they could hear him saying, coach. I was going to call him coach up until no more. Now, when I said, coach, it's me, he held me, he looked at me. He didn't know what to say. But that grip was not a firm one. Those hands were like showing a fist. He couldn't open them. And then he asked him to sit down. I came closer to him. He asked, how's Eric feeling, parents? With Eric, coach. I said, Tinkler. He said, yes. No, coach, he's no longer yet a pirate. He's with Cape City and with fish. And Kalele, is he still dancing when he plays? Where's my Linda? Now I was getting confused. What's going on? Because I wasn't briefed that this is how sick he was. It actually took me by surprise to see the state in which my coach was. Thank you. Yeah, it was okay, but
if you're just joining us, Dr. Kumalo on the line, we're sharing memories and speaking about his coach, Clive Barker. But another doctor's on the line with us as well, and we're so grateful. Dr. Kumalo actually is the one that assisted us in being able to get Dr. Victor Ramathesele, because I didn't know there were team doctors before this. Before this man showed up, a black man going around the world with Bafana as a professional. So many in this country have qualified, being built in different aspects of their life and professionalism on the back of people like Dr. Ramathesele. Doc, thank you so much for joining us and welcome to the show for the very first time. I'm honored to have you here as somebody whom I'd looked up to for so long. I've told you this in person before, but we're grateful to have you. Welcome to the show.
Thank you very much. I am humbled and honored by your introduction and some of the good things that you're saying about me and my profession. I really appreciate that. Thank you very much.
I can't wait to one day have you here speaking, and celebrating you. But today we're celebrating a man you worked very closely with, a man that loved you as much as you loved him. Talk to me about, you find out that Clive has passed on. I can imagine the first thing is, a shock, horror, and then the gushes of memories.
Yeah, I had mixed feelings, predominated by regret, because I had planned to go and see Clive, particularly after the major health scare that he suffered earlier this year when he undergone. He underwent a very complicated surgery. And I felt, he needed our support, those who were close to him. And I just had not found time to do so. And then when he passed, I'm left with that feeling of regret. But I don't regret the time that I spent with him. In fact, I believe that, I was blessed to have spent the amount of time I did with Clive Barker, and also the relationship that I enjoyed with him, given the fact that Clive Barker did not bring me into his team. When many coaches are appointed positions, they bring their people, they bring their doctor, their physio, their manager. Clive Barker worked with the people that he found in the national team setup, Jan Binkin, everybody he found today. And he made it his business to create an environment that allowed him to work very, very effectively with all of those people. And to everybody who was there, to the assistant coaches who was like a brother to all of us, it was like a father to the players. He was just an amazing individual. And there are many, many layers to the onion that was Clive Barker. And it just depends on which one you want to touch, really.
Give me one. I know there must be one that you want those that are, if you think about how many years 96 was, there are kids who are listening right now who, hear us speaking about the great 96 team, but have no idea who these personalities and these people are that we speak of. If you are telling the story of who Clive Barker to them as they listen now, which one of these onion peels are you putting on the table?
Well, I'll take two things. His football philosophy was very, very simple. You play your players to their strengths, and you get your players to support each other on their weaknesses, and in a manner that enhances and that harnesses their individual strengths. And I tell this story all the time, that when Clive Barker was announcing his team, which were usually very, very tense moments, he would go from the goalkeeper. When he mentions who's going to be in goal, he gives them instructions and the technical instructions already at that time. He said, Andre Aronson, you're in goal today. Be on the lookout for dead ball situations, this and this and the other. And then number two, and then we go to Caesar, player by player. When he gets to the midfield, he will say, Doctor, Shoes, I will come back to you. And then he will mention the rest of the team. And by doing that already, he was singling out these two players to say you are special to this team without offending any of the other players. Says, guys, these are the guys who are going to unlock these people for us. These are the guys who are going to get the crowd behind us. And these are the people that I'm going to give them freedom to express their God-given talent. Linda, Tinkler, get the ball, support these guys. You guys go in front. Don't be worried about defending. But when we lose the ball, you know exactly what needs to be done. And he would go to doctor and plant a kiss on his cheek and say, boy, today is your day. This is I want you to go out there. I want you to dance, boy. I want you to dance. Take this nerve back and do whatever you want and get those balls into Masinga, get those balls into Williams, get those balls into Butler. But if you don't find the space, come back. Shoes will be there too. He and this is what he did with every player. He would go to Lucas and give him specific instructions. He would go to Neil Tovey, each and every player. He would go to the player that he used to call the Marvin Hagler of the team, and that was Linda Batelis. And he would kiss his club and say, Linda, today I want no yellow cards from you, but please don't hold back. So he was indeed that type of coach. But what is critical is that Clive Barker would come to me and say, "You are the team doctor now," and he says to me and said, "Don't give me a nonsense. You are the team doctor now. You spend more time with these players than anybody else, and these players, because you deal with their health issues, they confide in you than anybody else. Player X, and I won't mention names. Player X has not been himself for the last 2 camps. What is wrong with him? I know he's got a personal matter that's bugging him. What is the problem?" And as a professional, I would deal daily and said, "Don't give me a nonsense talk. You're talking to me now. What is the issue?" And, we have dealt with bad health issues in that team. We have dealt with Lobona issues. Of course we have. And me, working with Clive Barker as the elders of that family, have resolved many of the personal issues of these players.
Wow.
I actually ended up at a point where most of these players, including Dr. Kumalo, I looked after their families when they were overseas. They would send money to me, and then I would look after the families and ensure that there's food, there's whatever furniture that is needed, because we had created that relationship with them where I was almost like a brother to them. And it was all because of how Clive Barker wanted the players to be managed.
That's amazing. Doc, you actually said this to me on Saturday, You said he'd always say to you, "Go out there and dance." I mean, you omitted the fact that you got a kiss on the cheek. You didn't mention that part to me, but you mentioned the dancing, Dr. Kumalo.
No, Prazik actually reminded me. And how the funniest part of it, he was short and I was tall. And, Mele Ame on his toes. I But, what Pravik is saying, Clive made a doctor to be not a medical doctor, but worked in our mental space. The doctor that you're talking to now used to be one of the people that helped Clive to drive the team before. At some stage, we had a quarrel with Safa about bonuses. The very same doctor said to us, "Guys, the stadium is packed. Madiba is here. You can't disappoint. Let's go." We said, "No, we want X amount of money." He said, "No, guys, but this is the wrong time. Let's forget about that. We'll sit when you come back. We'll talk about it when you come back." And we did. Him and Clive and Prasil, they solved the problem. And we went out there to deliver.
Wow. Dr. Ramathesele, your last ones on this, your homage to your dear friend.
Clive Barker, I will be eternally indebted to you for my career in sports medicine and also my career in the media space. Having given me the opportunity and the free reign to deal with matters communication related to the team, but also giving me the ability to exercise my trade as a sports physician and scaling the heights of that profession. I sat on the FIFA medical committee, on the CAF medical committee, because I was given opportunities and a global profile by people like yourselves. I want to say to your family, to your wife, and to your sons that we thank them for having brought you to us as a team and as a country. And we hope that as you leave this world, you are satisfied that everybody that remains behind will ensure that the legacy lives forever. Rest well. You've done a great job. You can be proud of yourself.
Thank you so much, Dr. Ramathesele. Appreciate it. Kumalo, we're grateful for you as well. Your last words here anyway to a man that was a father figure, a man that believed in you, a man that allowed you to dance. What would you like to say?
Yeah, firstly, I'll just say to the family, we thank them also for giving us the opportunity for Clive to coach us, because after him, so many doors were open overseas for the players to play overseas. But for myself, Personally, you might have been gone, but all the moments, the good moments you shared, I will never forget them. I'd like to thank you for shaping my life. I'd like to thank you for making me to become one of the best players in Africa, if not in the whole world. And in believing in me, thank you, Coach. I just hope and wish that you rest in peace. I will always remember all the moments we shared. Go well.
Do, Gabo.
Thanks, Andy.
Thank you so much, Dr. Kumalo, Dr. Ramathesele, Coach Steve Barker, all coming on to say their piece. Before we go, Mazola will still tell us about the Kaizer Chiefs coach. It's imminent, it's happening, it's on the way. We'll probably get a little bit more between tomorrow and Wednesday. But very quickly, let's just take a couple of voice notes before we go to Mazola there and hear what people have to say.
Let me first convey my condolences to the family, to the relatives, and I think it is fair to say to the country as a whole, because Clive is one of the icons that really raised the standard of our football and created many icons of football, including myself. I grew up under Clive Barker. When he came to the national team was a bit inconsistent, and he took us, he gave us belief, he gave us confidence, he gave us the freedom to really see ourselves and express our qualities, and we grew under Clive, and it's really a sad day for the country as a whole.
Thank you so much. That is the voice of David Nyati there, saying a little bit about the man who coached him as well. Mark Williams had this to say.
Hi, this is Mark Williams, the nation builder. Well, I could probably say that Coach Clive Barker gave me this name, but I'll be lying. But what I can say is that a friend, a mentor, a father, a coach, a pal I can have a drink with anytime when I need to have a chat with him, he was always there. Not just for me, but for all the players. He'll be surely missed for all the stuff that he has done in South Africa. He is one of the best coaches that I have played under. He gave me the opportunity, and that's why I was grateful for that. Coach, wherever you are now, you're going to meet the other players like Soos, Phil Masinga, John Moeti. You have a chat, and as South Africans, we just want to say thank you for everything that you've done for that 1916 to make us believe that we can win it. May your soul rest in peace for you and your family. God bless. To Clive Barker, my coach.
You know, Mark Williams has just given me a picture, you know, in the movies, and because that's a kind of, you know, I think in pictures, in video, I can see this entire squad there, you know, when the images of certain members start to disappear. And he mentioned all those names that have started to disappear from that picture. But it goes to show we're not young anymore. You know, time is going, and we need to start celebrating those that we hold in high esteem, even those that are next to us outside of all of this. But very quickly, Mazol, Kaizer Chiefs, new coach.
Yeah, he's trending right now. Nasreddin Nabi. You can go Google him. He's a coach out at Young Africans, popularly known as Yanga in Tanzania. This afternoon, he's just won his second treble with Yanga, and Chiefs have officially started talks. It's a matter of agreeing on the numbers now.
Do we know what happens to Zwane then?
The coach wants to bring his own technical team, but I'm told he was informed that the chairman admires Coach AZ. So, I mean, read into that what you want.
Yeah. One after the hour 7, we've got to get out of here. From myself and the three wise men, it wasn't business as usual today. We had to, of course, take a moment. Never going to be enough for the work that he's done while he was here. But we move on now to Soccer Zone a little bit later this evening. We're going to rope Mazola in on Tuesday or Wednesday, one of the two. And, you know, let's cover all the things that would have loved to cover that weren't able to. But this needed to be done. Davik?
Condolences to Mike Lukubeni, former coach of Royal AM and Chipa United, who also passed on the weekend. And may their soul
he didn't pass on. He was shot and killed. You know?
You are a journalist.
Yeah, that's sad what's happening in our football, Andile. He was shot and killed at a football game. I mean, unbelievable.
2 after the R7. My disappointment is known. I said it just the other day, and I'll continue to say it. We are not the people we think we are. We're the criminals they say we are. Because one thing like that happens represents all of us, and we sit here and do nothing. So, yeah. From all of us here, sadly. Phela phela ngantso.